Hey, good afternoon. Welcome, everybody. Name's Haywood Fennell. This is The Other Page television program brought to you by Triad Veterans League, supported by BNN. I'm really grateful today, folks, because we get an opportunity to discuss with a program manager from the Boston Public Health Commission, Mark Kennedy. I'm glad to have you here, Mark. Thank you so much.
Glad to be here for now.
You know, I spoke with Mark a little while ago, and this is his second time. We were talking about the state of health for African Americans and the lack of, publicity and for prevention, places to go. We don't see that. I watch a lot of television, not a lot of television, but I would look for things that can educate the public. And most of the major stations, if you're not paying for that information, they're not doing any public service announcement as they should, especially in Boston, especially in the African American community. And I spoke with Mark, and he came on, and we talked a little bit. And he's back today to talk a little bit about an overview of what the Boston Public Health Commission is doing in terms of preparing our people and educating them. Mark, am I right on that?
You absolutely are.
Okay, so I think the premise of our conversation was that there was not enough publicity, information, and you're here to say what you've been doing this past month in terms of health prevention. What are you doing?
Well, here's how I'll get into it. First of all, thank you so much for having me on. It's a pleasure to be back.
Right.
With regard to this month, please note for anybody that's viewing or listening that this month is Colorectal Cancer Awareness Month. It's a national month where we recognize the burden of colorectal cancer nationally and in cities, and I'll talk a little bit about that. I also want to talk a little bit about what the Boston Public Health Commission is doing, because there's some very exciting things happening. I actually took the liberty of bringing the March 12th copy of the Bay State banner, and on the top front page above the fold talks about a press conference that was done at the Boys and Girls Club, the Archie Center, a couple of Fridays ago, where the mayor announced some real exciting news about some help that we're getting, some financial help that we're getting from partners. So there's a couple of things happening. First of all, the overall backdrop is back in 2024, the city of Boston, the Boston Public Health Commission, a few other partners announced the first public health equity initiative that we've ever had. We call it Live Long and Well. And it really addresses the fact that when you look at neighborhoods across the city of Boston, you notice that there are life expectancy gaps between these neighborhoods. And in particular, of course, I live and have grown up in Roxbury. Back Bay is just about 2 miles away from us. And historically, there has been a 23-year life expectancy gap between people that live in Roxbury versus people that live in the Back Bay. So we've decided that we need to take advantage of that information and attack that in a way that tries to close that gap. So a couple of things that have happened over the course of the past month or so. The first is this. The Boston Public Health Commission is using somewhere around $1 million from its operating budget to invest in community resources and partners that are focusing on black men's health. Why black men? Because black men are literally driving the size of that gap. Black men die more than any other group in the city of Boston. Black men die from the 3 leading causes of death in Boston, which is unintended overdose, what we call cardiometabolic diseases, which includes heart disease, stroke, and diabetes, and cancer. At the highest rates when you compare us to other residents and other men across the city of Boston.
Let me interrupt you, because I know the information that you're gaining is valid, but what I want to know is where did the increase in the risk value go up as it has? Because now, Mark, they were talking about prostate cancer, and they had it in a certain age group. But now the age group has gone up to younger males.
Right. Generally speaking, Haywood, there is a very troubling trend around what we call young onset or early onset cancer. To your point, most of the new cases that we've seen year over year for the last 5 or 6 years or so, new cases, we're getting a tick up on a consistent basis in the percentage of new cases in groups that are younger than the guidelines say we should start getting screened.
Right.
It's not just prostate cancer, it's also breast cancer, it's also colorectal cancer.
Well, let's talk about that because, it's funny that you should mention colon. I saw something and I was impressed with the information around colon cancer and the age bracket for that. It's gone down.
Right. So the guidelines used to be until the year 2021 that you would start for colorectal cancer screening at age 50. It is now down to 45. And the reason why is exactly what I just told you. The new cases that are coming on are actually occurring in people younger than that 50-year-old guideline, right? So we cheated down to 45. We still have a lot of people that are getting colon cancer younger than even 45 and getting it at late stage. I think most people who view your program probably know or remember Chadwick Boseman from the movie Black Panther. Diagnosed with stage 4 colon cancer at 38 years of age and died at 43. He's 2 years even younger than the new guidelines.
You're talking about Chadwick.
Chadwick.
Yeah.
What did I say?
Right. So, you brought us a couple of posters.
Yep.
You wanted to kind of put those up right quick?
So these have to do with a campaign
Yeah.
that the Boston Public Health Commission put on the street in
Right.
2024 about colon cancer screening.
Okay.
We focused on segments of the community where the burden was the biggest. So it's
Right.
black people that speak English, black
We're
people
going
that
to talk
speak...
about that. Just
Right.
let me see the
So I just
flyer.
want to set this up. So then black people who speak English, black people who speak Haitian Creole, and our Spanish-speaking community. What I'm holding up here, what we did to build this this campaign
Right.
was to choose champions that we thought that people from those communities would listen to in terms of our call to action to get screened for colon cancer. What you see here, of course, is featuring Alberto Vasallo, the president and CEO of El Mundo Boston. And you see his particular version of this is the Spanish-speaking language. If I turn this over, this is Marta Rivera, who runs Boston Center for Youth and Families, and this one is featured in English.
That's. I need to see her. I'm glad you reminded me about that picture of Ms. Rivera. She's in charge of the community centers.
Right, exactly.
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
We also
And
have
so,
one. I'm sorry.
Mark, before you show the next one, now that's a good example. Here we have her picture in the text is in Spanish, but I haven't seen any of the flyers that you may have created in the centers. And that's what I was talking to you about before. The strategy, it has to be in gathering places like
Right.
community centers. Go ahead with the other one.
Right. The other one I wanted to point out is everybody knows Pastor Kiki in the Haitian Creole speaking community. So we featured him as one of our champions, and this is the version of the poster that's written in Haitian Creole.
Who is that?
This is Pastor Kiki.
Pastor Kiki?
Right? Pastor Kiki,
Kiki, okay,
K-E-K-E, right? He is one of the champions for the Haitian Creole speaking community. You might recall a couple of years ago when a lot of Haitian residents were flying into the city of Boston, but were camping out at Logan Airport because they didn't have a place to go. Mm-hmm. He was the one that was championing that transition from getting people from the airport to residents, even if it was short term for the city of Boston.
Right.
We chose some very powerful and recognizable champions to help us get the message out that people should be getting screened for colorectal cancer.
Can you tell me anything about the measure? Can you measure the accomplishments so far of the monthly overview of the situation?
Yeah. Well, what we're trying to do now is to link this work with partners that we have on the community-based organizational level
Right.
and to some extent in the clinical level. Because in order to measure it, we need to make sure we're understanding how or who did our messaging reach, and did it end up with someone actually getting screened.
Right.
When we put this on the street, all of those follow-up mechanisms were not in place. They will be put in place now, so we're going to have a much better way to be able to measure that.
So you've been able to create a measuring tool, so to speak, based on the earlier what you didn't do. Now you're doing things that you didn't do so that the outcomes can be better. Because if we having these raising of people in obesity, stress,
Exactly.
related illnesses, that's going to cause a rise. And our thing is to stabilize that rise, right?
Exactly. Stabilize that rise by getting screened, hopefully finding your cancer early when it's most treatable, so that that life expectancy gap that in part is being driven by cancer, we can now see people living longer and living well because of the efforts that we're doing in the cancer
Folks,
space.
I just want to say again that we're very proud of the work that Mark Kennedy has been doing for the years, and the Boston Public Health Commission. I want to commend them for, this particular initiative, and I'm hoping that people will understand the importance of prevention and, read the information. Mm-hmm. And we have it in Spanish. Who's to say? We may get it in Haitian Creole or Haitian Cape Verde.
Cape Verde, exactly.
Because they come from different countries, and, they need to know in their own language instead of struggling. Right. And I want to commend you for that. Yeah.
And if I could build on that for just a second, of course, the black community in Boston is obviously not monolithic. So when you look at the different segments within that population, we know that there's a burden, particularly for mortality from a number of different factors in our Haitian Creole-speaking community. Mm-hmm. We know that our Haitian Creole-speaking community and our Jamaican community also has a fair amount of burden from diabetes as well.
I want to interrupt you because, Mark, we have a lot of people in funerals here lately. And going back just a little bit with the COVID-19, mm-hmm. They came out with some type of judgment about not knowing everything that they know about COVID and how it affects people. And people say they have this lingering feeling that they think it came from COVID. What are you doing, if anything, with COVID-19? Is there any research, any data yet?
Well, that's a good question, and I'll apologize for the fact that I need to say that that's not the area of work that I do.
Right.
There are other people in the commission that focus and work on that, so I can't speak for them.
But are you saying that it is being worked on?
Oh, well, we've been in the forefront of messaging about COVID-19 and making sure that people got vaccinated.
I just wanted to ask that question because it's a health threat, and that's what you do.
Exactly.
That's what you do. Go ahead with your conversation.
Right. Now, I was just going to say, again, the work that we're doing, not only this month, but overall, I think is going to make a difference, particularly in terms of not only a focus on black men, but a focus overall on getting people of color that are traditionally dying more often and dying younger as you compare people of color to other people within the city of Boston. We think that this work directly impacts not only the side of it that pertains to men, but to women as well. And in the three leading causes of what we call premature mortality, which is death before the age of 65, those leading three causes are unintentional overdose, what we call cardiometabolic disease, which includes heart disease, stroke, diabetes, things of that nature, and cancer. My particular focus is going to be in the cancer space and to some, and maybe even a large extent, that cardiometabolic area. There's been some significant progress already in the unintended overdose area that I think the Boston Public Health Commission can proudly talk about.
Well, I'm hoping that, we get an opportunity to get more of the representatives of the Boston Public Health Commission in our community, because we are here to serve such information to our community, and we are also here to have a space and a place for you, be it television or radio, to keep people informed about our health situation, the overall view of it, because health is a thing that African Americans take for granted. They don't eat right, they don't rest right, they are always stressed right. And we need to understand that stress is the mess that complicates how we live and how we stay healthy.
I totally agree.
And for you to come on again with a message that has expanded to wherein we are reaching more people is a good thing. And so, Mark, what about the obesity? I'm looking at some of these kids that lead to diabetes.
Obesity, diabetes, both will increase risk of a wide variety of cancers. The last time I checked, it was like 13 different cancers that research is still working on to prove a direct link between having those conditions and having an increased risk for cancer.
Wow.
Okay. When you talk about colorectal cancer or GI cancers in general, when you're talking about liver or stomach or things of that nature, what we eat has a lot to do with how our body responds and the potential, at least, that we might be diagnosed with a cancer at some point in time. People like to ask about what causes cancer. We talk a lot about family history. We talk a lot about environmental factors. But if I took my wallet out and put it on this set right now, I would say that is probably the leading cause of cancer. We typically buy it. And when you think about how certain people live their household income differently from other people, you may have people who don't really have the choice in terms of budget for what they feed their family because they have to put a roof over their head and have to do other things, right? But at the end of the day, the Boston Public Health Commission, again, is making sure that people have resources that mitigate lack of access to healthy foods. We want people to know about those. We want people to take advantage of those. We do a lot of work in the physical activity space because when you combine obesity and diabetes with a sedentary lifestyle, the perfect storm happens.
Well, we're going to have to get you back, Mark. We're running out of time, but I wanted you to know that we really appreciate the information that you brought here today. We're going to ask them to put up your information, and I think it's going up for more information. There's your website.
Yeah.
I want to thank you for coming in today, and this has been a real delightful day of sharing because we care about each other. Like I said, you're welcome, Boston Public Health Commission. As a leader, we want to see you back,
And
so
we'd love to
thank
be
you so
back.
much.
We'd love to be back. And again, for those of you that are viewing this, Boston.gov/cancer, information that you need about what screenings you need to be getting, information about particular cancers, and any other resources that you might need. We're happy to provide. Go to that website and find out more.
Thank you so much, Mark.
My absolute
Again, this
pleasure.
has been the Other Page television program. Our guest has been Mark Kennedy, man in the community doing the work to try to keep us healthy. This program is brought to you by Triad Veterans League. Veterans are an overlooked and underused community resource. We're so grateful to have this opportunity at BNN to try to enlighten, to tighten the conditions that will improve their health care. Thank you, and God bless.
What if you were Coota? If you were young, free to dream, free to learn,
What have you learned from the quotes I sent you?
to read, to love, the whole world is yours. And suddenly, everything changes. You're running for your life. Freedom is all you think about. Then you realize freedom ain't free.
went from having a mop, washing people's clothes, doing all kind of domestic work until she got an idea that she could live better. And she became a cosmetologist, and we're going to talk a little bit about her in the play. And she supported so much in the community, and we want people to be aware of this history because it's not a mystery. We also want to talk about another project that Triad Veterans League is involved, and that is the proposal to create a United States commemorative postal stamp based on some renderings done, there it is, by Artists for Humanity and After School Program for Youth in South Boston. We now have a petition going around to gather signatures. We have letters. We have a video. We have a lot of blank forms for you to sign. And I got an opportunity to speak about what we are doing around recognizing our veterans, African-American veterans. Since the American Revolution, they have been involved, sacrificing their lives, and little is said about those that served. Those were our ancestors, some of yours ancestors as well, and we're trying to raise awareness of the importance of honoring those who have served and died fighting for a freedom that we still do not have. We fought all over the world, freeing other people, but we have not been able to free ourselves. So the United States Commemorative Stamp Series Project's goal is to create these stamps so that people can become educated about who did what. And some of the people that are supporting our campaign are City Councilor Ed Flynn, United States Congressman James McGovern. We have a lot of letters of support. But what I can't understand is you hear these elected officials, when the time to come for election, they bring out veterans and say how important veterans are, and veterans in turn, most of them, vote for those people that are making these broken promises to veterans, because veterans should never, ever be without a home. And you got too many homeless veterans, and nobody is doing anything but talking and walking. Talking and walking and balking at providing a strategy of putting it together with some veterans at the table to better serve our veterans and house them, get them housing, because veterans deserve, they have served. And veterans are an overlooked and underused community resource. So we want you to sign off, go to the Strand Theater to see the exhibit. It's hanging there. There's a petition there for you to sign. Go to our email, or better yet, go to our website. There it is right there. There it is. Go to our website and see what Triad Veterans League is doing to keep our veterans recognized and to raise the level of appreciation for our veterans, because they serve. They serve. You can have a man that's a resident in the doghouse in Washington who never served in the United States military. Never. Said something was wrong with his feet and not his head. But let me tell you something. That will pass. Those wars over there in Iraq, they will pass. And he'll still be around, saying he was trying to make America great again. You can't make America great again in the manner that he is trying to pull off. So to go to the lighter side of what Triad Veterans League is doing is we want to talk about our theater program. The Oscar Micheaux Family Theater Program Company We want to talk about that with you today. The Oscar Micheaux Family Theater Program Company was named in honor of Oscar Micheaux, who was an African American and saw the despicable way that African Americans were being portrayed in the movies, and he began to work on creating a set of movies that would raise the importance of the work that had to be done and that he did. The Oscar Micheaux program repudiated a movie that was made to make African American veterans, African American people and veterans too, make them look real bad. Birth of a Nation was the name of that movie. And if you see it, you'd be ready to throw your TV out the window. Don't do that. Throw the video out, but don't throw the TV out, because we are on the African American veterans involved with a theater program, and we have a website and a YouTube page. Our YouTube page is beautiful. Please join us on our YouTube page for the Oscar Micheaux Family Theater Program Company YouTube page. The African American Theater Program Company, also known simply as the company, we have a story to tell on our YouTube page. We're also on Instagram. And our cast members use their email to promote the play that I mentioned earlier, the Harlem Renaissance Revisited with a Gospel Flavor. Let me just tell you who some of the people are that are performing. Sister Monica Anderson Spencer, she's playing Madam C.J. Walker. Karen Baker Harris, you might remember her from school days when she was attending school. She is a principal now with us. Irene O'Bannon. Look, I can't say no more, folks. Look at that. Look at that image. Stages, dancing, and dancing again at stages. The two women in the red and white down on the bottom right, Minister Deborah Mosley, Sister Irene O'Bannon. Together they've been with us for 30 years, combined. And in the middle was Stanley Ara Thompson, a union official who's been with us for quite some time. Here we are again, honoring with a resolution Monica Anderson Spencer, who's holding the resolution. And some of our cast members, left to right, there's in the back, Deborah Mosley, Minister, Isabel Alexandra. In the middle is Karen Baker Harris, Irene O'Bannon, Stanley Ara Thompson, Eleanor Brown, and sitting is our director. Our director is sitting, holding on to her resolution from the Boston City Council. Monica Anderson Spencer, Marian Anderson and Friends Project, she played the role of Marian Anderson and sang. And boy, can this voice teacher, is what she does, among other things. She teaches music, she teaches voice, and she can sing herself. She did a wonderful job at the Strand Theater last year. And folks, I just want to say something about these venues. We got to get more space. We got to find more places that have stages where we can perform. And I know they're out there. Now, we're over in Cambridge on March the 28th. And we've been to other college campuses and performed. But we're looking to be in Cambridge, or we're looking to be in Boston. We're looking for a stage, and we're looking for your help. Veterans can do it. And we're showing people what happens when veterans come together and work from a consensus basis. You know, nobody has all the answers, but together we can get the answers that we need. We have a literacy program. If our children cannot read, they cannot compete. It's just simple as that. You know, they have these kids, right? You know, maybe you've seen them in your house or some other place. The kid is 4 years old, folks, and he's able, there's our logo, the turtle, learn to read. So the kid is able to respond to the hip-hop that he's hearing verbatim. That means that he can say exactly, he can retain exactly what's being said and then say it later. You know what people say? They say, oh, look, he's so smart. And they say, isn't she cute? No, that's your cue. That's for you to do, which is to get a book. You get a book and you start reading with that child. And the child has these skills, these cognizant skills, to be able to appreciate what's being read and said by the parent or someone that's teaching them how to read. So when he goes to school, he is not stuck like Chuck trying to learn how to read because he's already learned how to read. Now we need some more format for him to become a reader. We got the reading material. Coota and the Magic Cook is exciting. You saw earlier our movie trailer that was created by a friend, Michael King. You know, he got some of those students at the School of Art before it closed down to help him do something for the Coota Literacy Project, which is the movie trailer. So everybody do a little bit so that one person doesn't have to do a lot. That's in anything that you do because we are building. We are building over ashes of our past. We need to understand that. We are a people of magnitude, of greatness. We're not to be played with, but we got to stop playing with ourselves so that people will respect us. Now that play on March the 28th to be held at 459 or 439 Broadway in Cambridge is a testament of our history, of our struggle, of our triumphs. Please visit THEOMTC.com. THEOMTC.com. It's right there for you, right on screen to see our play. Look at that beautiful play with Sister Monica that I mentioned to you earlier, up in the middle, standing right there. And people in Miss Evelyn's Delight, which is an after-hours spot. And you see Miss Evelyn down in the bottom right with the red and white with Minister Deborah Mosley. And they are backbones of this production. Having stages as a partner, as a collaborative partner for the last 10 years, every time we perform, they're in the company. They're there with them. And they are beautiful. They can dance and prance and make it happen. We support them and we want you to support us because it's all about the supporting. It's not about not supporting. Come on the 28th of March to the Cambridge Ridge and Latin School and enjoy us performing our history. I said that it was written by me, but it's been revived by Monica Anderson Spencer, and she did a great job. She did a great job. She gave that script to Crystal, Black like Crystal Dawson, and all the rest of those people. You're going to see what they know. You're going to see what they know come Saturday, the 26th. They know a lot. I want to take and thank Rosalind Elder for her presentation on the Harlem Renaissance last Saturday at the Shaw Public Library. Whole lot of people, whole lot of talking about the Harlem Renaissance. She gave me an opportunity just to say a few words. The truth is sometimes just a few words. I talked about the Harlem Renaissance and invited those people to our play and sold a few tickets. We need your help. We're asking for your help. THEOMTC.com. Find out who we are and why we're so good. Because we're talking about our people. And we're raising them. We're not trying to act like they didn't do what the things that we know they did. We have to acknowledge ourselves first. Primero. First. The Oscar Micheaux Family Theater Program. We also are doing the Coota Literacy Enhancement Program. You have our website number. You can look and see our books and maybe order our books. But all the information is on our website. And we're trying to reach out into the community to get more people involved in what we do because we need to shore up our young people. You know, they play a lot of sports, basketball, baseball, football, you know, but we want to be able to have a place for them where they can concentrate on the most powerful tool for learning, literacy. Literacy. We got some supporters in the community, and we're working with a community center. I'm not going to disclose the name. And they're going to be working on a project called That's Not My Name. That's Not My Name is a program that people will learn the importance of not using the N-word when they talk to you. I didn't grow up using that word, and I still don't use it. I hear it. Maybe sometimes I might say it, but not in the manner that it was meant. To degrade you, to stop you in your tracks, and swallow a hate pill. We don't do that. So we got this group, like I said, a young group. They're going to read the book, they're going to dance, and I'm going to show them what I want. I can dance. I used to could dance, but not anymore. And we're going to have a good time this summer coming up with the Coota Literacy Camp. We're going to do that. The Coota Literacy Camp will be something that you want to get your children involved in, and we want to thank you for your being a part of our strategy to educate and to empower. Because we're taking our plays, we're taking our books for you to get a better look at who you are and how you become even better. We're going to create this curriculum that will attract the young people to becoming a part of our program. And we want to be working with Centerpiece LLC, created by a good brother who is a veteran, and teach people how to use the stage and wire it, sound, lighting. We got that now. When you come on March the 28th, you're going to see lighting, you're going to see set design, you're going to see prop design, you're going to see fashion design, and you're going to see the play with a stellar cast doing hip-hop, mixing it with history, and you're going to enjoy yourself. We're going to be there in Cambridge on March the 28th. There we are. Look at that. Don't you want to come today? Don't you want to go get your ticket? You should, because we got something to say, and we'd appreciate you coming and saying it real loud. We matter. We matter. As Jesse Jackson, the late Jesse Jackson would say, we are somebody. It's been a great day today, folks, talking to you and having an earlier guest here on the other page, radio. It's been real good, you know, and I'm encouraged, and I hope that you will tell your friends that you saw a good show today, one about our history that is not a mystery, and about the play coming up this Saturday, March the 28th at 1:30 p.m., and then we're going to come back at 5:30. And in that process, we're going to be awarding the O'Bannon family. The O'Bannon family lives in Cambridge, and one of the characters in our play, a main character, is Miss Evelyn, played by Irene O'Bannon, who's been with the cast for 20 years. So we got people like that that's been around 15, 10 years, because the program is very interesting. It's a teaching tool. It makes people want to be somebody, and we are working on putting it together as a curriculum. As a curriculum, because you to go to the schools now and you ask them, what are they teaching about the Harlem Renaissance, and they won't say anything. Because they don't know what to say. Because they don't read. They're not round readers, but our readers are leaders. Our readers are leaders. Remember that. Remember the music that you're going to hear Darlene Wynn sing, Minister Ruthenia Toots, Sister Monica Anderson, and the Dance of Stages Cultural Arts Center on Main Street in Randolph are coming. They've been coming. And we look forward to seeing them move with grace on the stage. We got it going on. There they are. Look at them. Isn't that grace? Look at the stages, ladies and gentlemen. Welcomes you for the March the 28th event, to see them open up and then come back later on and do something else. We're so grateful to have that kind of talent involved in what we do. We are just that good. And we want you to come in and shout as long and as strong as you can, because our history is not a mystery. The Oscar Micheaux Family Theater Program Company, often called the company, is no joke. We're not a joke. People have come to us young and learned and went on to colleges, and now we have one by the name of Sky Forts, Skyy, Sky Forts, Fortes, who was on our show last week talking about her experience with the Oscar Micheaux Family Theater Program. She graduated from Emerson College with a National Honor Society pin, and I'm so proud of her. And she's going to be back. She's going to be back with her CD, you know. And I told her a while ago, you know, that you're going to be okay. And sure enough, Shaquan Reed was with us. Joseph Gonzalez, Alex Newell won a Broadway Tony Award. You know, so we're so grateful to have this opportunity to have these young people with us and doing the things that they do. We're going to take a little break right now. We're going to come back and talk a little bit more about the Veterans United States Postal Stamp Strategy. We'll be right back. Helping our veterans. You know, Triad Veterans League has been around since 1997 in this part of the United States, but we started before that in the 80s, and when we were down in the Triad area of North Carolina, which is Winston-Salem, High Point, and Greensboro. And we were starting because we wanted to create an organization that was dealing with veterans and trying to help them help themselves, yeah. And then we left that area and I started going to Boston University, studying urban planning, and we formed here in the city of Boston, where we've been since 1997. Look at that picture, folks. I mean, you know, those are the images that are part of the calendar, was a part of our calendar. Now it's a part of our strategy to create the United States Commemorative Stamp Series with the help of United States Congressman Jim McGovern, who saw the exhibit for the first time in Worcester. He was with some other dignitaries, and they looked at it, and he said, this should be a stamp series. I'm going to help them get it done. Of course, you know, sometimes people tell you they're going to do something. You can't wait for them to do something, especially if it's a good idea. So we've been doing it. We ain't waiting for nobody. We're not going to do that. We got elected officials in this town, right? They know about this stamp project. They've received letters asking for their supportive letters from me. We got a lot of them to respond. But a lot of them, they didn't respond. They did not respond. Was I surprised? Of course I was. Did I feel like I was denied help? Well, you can't wait on nobody, folks. So we got the petition over there to be signed at Strand Theater, and we got the art exhibit there. Go look at it. Go look at it. Because we're talking about people, men and women, over a period of years that have stood up for the United States of America. Still standing. All we want to do for veterans is to be respected, given the opportunities that they gave you, because a lot of you didn't serve, but you benefited from veterans serving this country. Let me tell you about the Veterans Reading Brigade, formed by Triad Veterans League. Our kids can't read. I told you that before. So we go to places and we sit and we talk and we read and we listen to other kids read. And you know what? Kids are not the only ones that can't read and comprehend what they've read. You've got older kids that are ready to go to college that can't read. Not on the level that they need to. And so what they do is they take these little courses that anybody could pass instead of being able to read and take the bigger courses and the stronger courses to be able to get the full potential from this reader. We get a degree that we don't really need. I'm just saying. I'm just saying that we need to be more intense on how we educate our children. We're talking about health. We're talking about wealth. And we can be wealthy. You don't need $1 million to make $1 million. You don't need $1 million to make $1 million. You need to be able to be equipped for opportunities and start reading. That's what we're going to do. I want to remind you again, on March the 28th at the Cambridge Ridge and Latin School in the Fitzgerald Auditorium, please go online, OT's, the Oscar Micheaux Theater Program Company. Go online, there's the information. And order your tickets. Order your tickets, folks. Come and see us perform, since we've been doing this since 1997, consistently. We never missed a year of performing, and that includes being on stage or Zooming, virtual. We never missed a year. Support that. That's hard work. But you deserve the opportunity to celebrate productions that appreciate cultural enrichment. It's been a great day, folks. I thank you. 857-204-5312. That's for you to give me a call. Let's talk. If you need help, let's talk. Let's make it happen. Thank you, everybody. My name's Haywood Fennell. God bless you. Triad Veterans League. There's our website right there. Let us know how we can help you. Help yourself. God bless you, and have a good evening.